So we'll walk you through this during lab on Tuesday. Yeah, this is going to be a part of your lab activities in 205 lab, but I wanted just to give you a preview, hopefully to answer some questions and to make this activity as simple and as enjoyable as possible as you learn more about the challenges, especially in regards to the various systems, the cardiopulmonary system, musculoskeletal system, the neuromuscular system, as well as some of the challenges on the sensory system, changes of the sensory system experienced by older adults. And so you see this individual wearing this outfit. It almost looks like a skiing outfit to me at first until you really look more closely and you see that she's wearing quite a significant brace on above the knee and below the knee. And she's wearing a different type of shoe. And the individual is wearing, looks like some weights on the arms, which is correct, and some gloves. She is wearing a weighted vest. She's also wearing a cervical collar. She's also wearing some glasses to affect the sensory system and a headset. So you can kind of see how all these little pieces are going to really try to help you experience what an older adult may be experiencing and how different activities may become more difficult. So not everyone's going to get a chance to wear the suit, and we'll talk about that in lab just simply because we don't have enough time, but open lab is an opportunity for you to try on the suit. And it's also an opportunity really if you want to actually go through and do the activity with a couple of partners. So I want you to try to work in groups of 3 on this, and again we'll talk about it more in lab. But what you have here is Google Doc, which I will pull up here. It's just the assignment. The rubric lives in Moodle. We'll look at that before I break here. So you want to bring this Google Doc with you. Obviously you can pull it up live as a living document as well on your iPads while you're in lab, but it's nice to have that paper version. A lot of students like that. I'll save you from kind of bouncing around a little bit, have a hard copy. But you're going to be working in groups of 3 or 4, depending upon the size of the lab group. And so one of you will be the patient role, which will be wearing the suit that was you saw. There's a suit in the Table Rock campus lab and also in the Eugene lab. So the Table Rock students, there's only 4 of you. There should be a few of you that have this opportunity to wear the suit, which is kind of cool. Eugene, for 20 students, is really going to be a bit more challenging. I can see where, open lab would be a better opportunity to wear the suit, since we'll be limited on time during actual lab time on Tuesday. But you'll all get a chance to go through the activities, since I'll be facilitating that in Eugene. So one of you will be in the patient role, and I think it might be worth, actually a good idea, to videotape this experience so you can go back and extrapolate from it when you do your debrief, so you can kind of see physically what your system looks like. I think what I often see is that students will sometimes even deny that they really had an effect, the suit had an effect on their posture, when they're clearly in kyphosis because they just don't feel it and they can't see it. But so I think videotaping is a really good idea. And also the challenges to your sensory system, just kind of observing, you as you're turning your head trying to hear, you're asking people to speak, tell them you can't hear, they're having to adjust and speak to you closely, for example, or you're having difficulty seeing them, and just how your body system is experiencing a load. So this is some things that you're going to be addressing in your question and answer. And it will probably be best to do this certainly after the activity, outside of lab time, or if we have time later in the day during lab for working on this activity, which is probably doubtful, knowing how packed the lab is. And then the second person will be in the SPTA role, where you'll be assisting the patient, donning the suit and doffing the suit, as well as you have these helpers, a couple of classmates, to help you put on the suit, to help you monitor vital signs, and to help you, address these questions, which with a couple of helpers, it's not going to be hard to do all these. It's very, very possible in a very short period of time, especially if you're well organized and have this sheet in front of you, which you need to provide for yourself when you come to lab. And then you have some reflection questions about how effective your instructions were. And then the peer safety monitor, you're going to be, certainly, observing, getting some feedback from the patient, maybe writing down some notes, especially as you're getting into range of motion. And then also you're going to be just observing the SPTA and assessing their effectiveness in the activities as they are helping the patient. And then you have these activities that you're going to be taking your patient through. There's 5 of them. Actually no, there's 5 of them. These are just kind of the basic red flag items. Choosing the activity related to walking. Another one with walking using a different assisted device versus a walker or cane. This is, us doing an activity on PhysioBall while you're sitting. And if these are easy for your patient, you make them harder, but appropriately harder, not a silliness where you're making them fall off, because that's just not safe and that's bad practice. And certainly isn't the expectation we want to see in lab per lab guidelines. And then again, providing the appropriate challenge for your patient, going into some PNF type activities. And then creating a home exercise program, which is something that you're going to do outside of lab time. I got a spelling error, got to correct there. And there's some specific parameters about that. So there is the activity. It's a couple of pages of activity guidelines. And you're going to Moodle, you're going to look at the rubric. I haven't uploaded it yet, but this is what it looks like. This is how you're going to be graded, different categories, where you're going to do a summative report. So you're going to take the activity here in this Google Doc, right, and answer all these questions, and then you're going to submit it as one assignment. So your group will submit one assignment. It's not 4 people in a group submitting 4 separate assignments. It's one assignment for your group. And that if your group is only 2 people for some reason, then it's a group assignment of 2. One person's the SPTA and the person's the patient. But if you have these larger groups, it's going to be one assignment. And this is your rubric that you're going to be assessed on and how it's going to be graded. And it all really makes sense if you go back and look at the activity. You have the SPTA, you have the helper aid role. If for some reason you only have a group of 2, which is unlikely, if I really want you to do larger groups, this would just be a combination. Okay, the SPTA role would be an 18-point area versus 10 points. You follow me there? Purpose, objectives, and there you go. So that should help you out a lot with the activity. And then you submit your final work in Moodle under the appropriate week and the appropriate, sorry, it's a little bit slow. Right over here, the geriatric suit activity. All right, enough for now. We'll talk soon. Bye.